All right, guys, it is time for the wheel, deciding what movie we are going to be doing in September, I
Yay!
believe. Yeah, let's give it a spin and see what we're getting rid of.
We didn't even give what we thought was gonna lose.
Oh, well, Curtains is the one that lost.
Oh, so the voices is still on the board.
I should make it say we have a loser, not a winner.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the voices stays.
Because it would be such a win for us to review.
Dude, I already know the voices is gonna win too.
I know. It's already been written into the prophecies.
R.I.P.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yikes.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spillage Studios. Today we have a Slashcast episode. So today we're gonna be reviewing one of my 31 Nights of Halloween picks, Heretic, which is a 2024 psychological thriller movie. But before we just want to talk about some movie trailers, movie news that have been brought up recently. So the first one, obviously, I want to talk about is Evil Dead Burn. So we got a little teaser, which is like about just a minute long. Nothing too crazy. It's just in the trailer you see a woman crawling through a house, and then you get the title card of Evil Dead Burn. So this takes place in the same universe as Lee Cronin's Evil Dead Rise, which came out a couple of years ago. And they're really trying to expand on that universe and make spin-off movies. So we have two coming out. We have Evil Dead Burn this year and then Evil Dead Wrath, which is being filmed right now, but it won't come out till next year, 2028. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are both attached to both of those projects. So really stoked about that. Hopefully they bring back some of the same elements of the original trilogy and the 2013 movie. And I'm mostly really excited to see what they can do with this universe so far. And that's really it on horror movie news recently. The other movie is Leviticus, which has been popping up on some film festivals recently, so I'm kind of stoked about that.
Is this a part of your
Otherwise,
Christian
that
arc?
is, huh?
Is this a part of your Christian films arc?
It technically is a religious horror too, but it kind of fits in with the theme of this movie too. But the movie is, I won't get too much into it because I don't know too much about the movie, but look it up. It looks pretty awesome. I think it's an A24 movie, so
Oh, good.
the guy from Talk to Me is the main cast member in that, so looks pretty gnarly. Should be good. And Obsession's coming out too, so we got some good movies for the, slasher summer.
Let me
Moving on to
let me break this up with some real religious horror. Let's talk about Godzilla -0.
He does have God in his name.
right.
Yeah, real religion, not this
Actually,
bullshit.
Our new religious
-1.
audience is really gonna love this.
Yeah, we got a little teaser, a little thing. I'm pretty interested in it. I'm not too happy about the Coming to America thing. I didn't think the Coming to America sequel was that good. So Godzilla Coming to America, is Eddie Murphy going to be in this movie?
Dude,
I
that would
don't
be
know,
fire.
but definitely an interesting one.
Dr. Doolittle meets Godzilla.
But yeah, no, I think it looks interesting. Also, another little one for like horror movies. Well, do you have anything to say about Godzilla -0, Patrick? Other than
No,
I predicted the name years ago.
Did you?
I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome. The only thing,
No, so we were doing reviews. Sorry to interrupt you, Pat. We were doing
No, you're good.
reviews or talking about it, and I kept saying Godzilla -0 in those videos.
Dude, they heard you and they were like, "Oh yeah,
They did.
Godzilla -0."
They watched the Spillage video and they're like, you know what? I like that. We're gonna steal that title.
Yeah. You better credit Ethan.
Godzilla -0.
Send that money right to the Boss Nasty email account.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm just interested to see how they're going to blends like the American audience too with this movie, because I know it's going to have like American forces in the movie. So just interested to see how they're
Dude, I hope it's
transition.
like old school Godzilla, like Don Fry
Yeah.
Godzilla. I don't hit women, but I'll slap them. God, Don Fry's
when
no
you
reason
said there's
on a
going to be
mustache.
American forces in the movie, that was like the most media way to say that. I'm not sure how they're going to deal with the fact of it being American forces fighting Godzilla in this movie. I don't know how we're going to handle that.
Yeah, maybe they'll use the F4 Phantom.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't have anything for like new shit. At least not in the horror world, especially.
The other one I'm actually interested in. I know, probably a little more controversial, or I don't know. Probably less people are excited about it in
The
a
Kanye
normal horror
biopic.
genre. But I am pretty excited for this Escape the Backrooms movie, just because it's actually a world I delved into because I played the game a decent
Yep.
amount. And I think like
I'm excited for
overall,
that.
like how they're shooting it and everything like that looks super
Yeah.
awesome. A guy who originally created the project is working on it as the director,
Yeah.
which I think is huge because
Yeah.
he's definitely bringing his vision to the screen. So
I
I
do
think
have
it's super,
one
super cool.
to say, actually. I obviously, Ethan, I know you and I talked about this, but they're doing a Bloodborne movie. I think it's an animated movie.
Yes.
And I think Jacksepticeye is like involved producing something like that. His involvement doesn't really
Interesting.
matter to me, but just a Bloodborne project is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, we're never going to get the remaster, so might as well get a movie. Because they're also
Yeah.
doing a Sekiro anime based on that from.
And we're getting A24's Elden Ring too.
Wait, really?
Yep. Yeah, it started
Yep.
filming.
Well, we're going to talk about A24 in this video, and I
Yeah.
can give you some thoughts on how I feel about it. So,
I actually do have another movie. I just watched Faces of Death,
okay.
and it was terrible.
Copy. Don't watch that.
Don't watch it. It is the most cliche slasher movie. It does not hold. Actually haven't even seen the original, but the whole premise is just so dumb and bizarre that I don't know. I know some people like it, but it just was not for me. It was
Well-
definitely a miss.
Speaking of bizarre plots, let's dive into Heretic. You want to give us a little rundown of this story?
Yeah.
Should we give our thoughts first?
Heretic. We'll get to that in one
let's dive
second.
into the.
All right.
Let's dive into
All
the.
right.
So
what the
Heretic
movie's about.
2024. I've been waiting so long to talk with you guys about this movie. I've been excited that you guys finally have the chance to watch it because this movie is wild. It is something else. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. So this movie was written and directed by the horror duo Scott Beck and Brian Woods. They previously worked on Haunt, which is a 2019 Halloween type of slasher movie. I was a big fan of that movie. I watched it before Heretic came out. So I was pretty excited when they announced that they were working on this movie. And Haunt is, like I said, has reminiscence of Heretic in it a little bit. So yeah, let's just dive into the cast. So Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East are the main stars of this movie, and then we have the ultimate agnostic atheist, Hugh Grant, the rom-com hero of the 2000s and 90s. So, yeah, I just want to first start off with Cole because it seems like he's eager to share some thoughts of his initial reaction.
Mhm.
As you guys know, I love this movie. It was one of my favorite movies of 2024. So,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
you're gonna like what I have to say.
no, hit it.
All right, so first thing that I want to say, just like funny off the like top, before I watched the movie, I was like reading the description or something, and I thought it said Alan Grant, like Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. So for some reason, I thought he was gonna be in this movie, and then I'm like, wait, that's Sam Neill. This is not actually his name. So I just thought that was gonna be like the main villain for a second, and I just thought that was stupid.
Yeah, it's Sam Neill.
My first note that I have is actually positive. Like, I thought that the opening where they're talking about the condoms and stuff was really funny, and I like the graphic design of like the credits and stuff. I'll just say generally, I think that I really like the first half of this movie, or like the first like 2/3 of this movie maybe, and then I think it all just falls like way off the deep end. It completely loses everything about it. But I'm not gonna like get super deep into it yet.
Yeah.
I think it's set up really well. It's set up. Do you need to say something right now, or can I finish what I'm fucking saying?
I need to say something now.
Okay,
Just 'cause of
what?
you were talking about? It was based on. Oh, Jesus Christ! God damn.
Well, you're like fucking throwing your heart out to me. Like you need to say something right now. Please go.
No, just because you're talking about this, like in the beginning part being really, really good. This movie definitely gave me super hardcore 10 Cloverfield Lane vibes
I've never
in
seen
that regard. Yeah,
Is that the one where
never
they're in
mind.
the bunker?
Yeah,
Yeah, I never saw that one. I just saw like trailers for it and shit.
love that movie.
But anyway, like my general thoughts, I think the first half of the movie, I was like really engaged. I thought it was setting up like a really interesting premise. I think the way that it's shot and like the set design and all that is really, really cool and like almost like psychedelic. And it's got like that weird like liminal space type feeling. And I think they used that to really great effect to put on this psychological horror. And I think they were building up to trying to have some kind of really interesting message. And then about the last like third or half of the movie, it all just goes everything just falls apart for me. I mean, the set changes to just like this blue gradient, like I'm watching fucking Underworld, and like all the stuff that happens completely loses the intellectual, like interesting ideas that they were trying. It seemed to get at in the beginning of the movie, and I don't know. I just think it like really fell apart for me. And also, as someone who comes from a world where I was like that edgy atheist for a long time, and I'm also very interested in like religions and atheism and stuff like that. All the talking points were so like the most milk toast atheist talking points you can
Yeah.
possibly get, and I think it just came off as tacky to me. And this is my problem with a lot of A24 stuff: is it comes off with this air of like intellectual superiority and like the whole like artsy art bullshit vibe, and then it just falls apart. Like the actual stuff that happens in the movie is not interesting, and I also think that they lost any kind of sense of message they were going for by the end and just started throwing crazy psychotic shit at the wall, and it kind of loses the interest that I had in the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
It's a ramble,
I do
but
agree.
that's how I feel.
I'm not
I do
gonna
agree
lie.
with that.
Oh.
I'll let Ethan go.
Well, I was gonna say like A24 to me has been like so hard pressed built on fucking like specific movies that like I feel like they think they can like do no wrong now.
Yeah,
Like with
no.
like Hereditary and all the uh what the fuck is his name?
But that's how I feel. I
Um,
feel like
what
they'll just get glazed.
Ari Aster,
no, not Ari Aster, the other guy. Like The Witch,
Robert Eggers.
Lighthouse. Right, Robert Eggers like has
He
like
left.
carried.
He left A24.
No, I know. I'm just saying like from like there on, like has carried them so hard.
It's
Well,
just
yeah.
the vibe in general, and I feel like they think that like just being slightly artsy they can get away with it, and like have their movies get great rave reviews, which it will from like the critics of the world.
I guess
sure.
they do have some big ones. They do have like some really, I guess, quote unquote. I'm not like as full, but like everything everywhere all at once is huge.
I'm not saying that
Um,
they haven't made
but,
like
like-
extremely quality
No,
movies.
yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that especially in the media, the way A24 movies get covered has this weird bias towards them like just being better or like of a higher quality or of like a higher artistic value. And then I watch something like this that is like talked up to be this like really complex and interesting movie, and I feel like it just like vomits a bunch of atheist talking points at you, trying to like set up some big semi-religious message, and then it just falls apart into like normal horror psychotic shit at the end. And,
Yeah,
and
I'm
it
not
kind of
gonna-
just like falls apart. Like I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. Like the second this movie falls apart for me is as soon as they go through like the second door
Yeah.
into like the basement.
When they go to the
Is
basement.
like exactly when it falls apart.
That's exactly what I wrote down. Like this movie, as soon as they walk into the basement, the set design becomes terrible. Even the way the movie is shot, like you can't really tell what's going on. And everything after that just seems like they took everything they set up in the first half of the movie and they just started throwing shit at the wall. Like the simulation theory thing comes way out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and it kind of breaks up all the other like religious stuff they were trying to get into. And like I get they're trying to make Hugh Grant's character like seem psychotic, but like it just seems like random. It seems like they couldn't pin down a message. They just wanted to talk about religion generally, which is of course, you know, the artsy way to pretend like you have a really heady message. And it just seems like at the end of the day, like they wanted to have this like big critique of religion couched in horror and psychological horror, and it's just half baked to me. As someone who is interested in a lot of that stuff, it just seems like a 16-year-old's version of this. The Amazing Atheist could have written this fucking movie.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
I feel like at the end it like changes tones completely. Like like make you think about it. Like it's trying to
Yeah.
make you think, and then it's like no, religion is real. Like
Yeah.
believe.
It
It's
goes
like, what?
back and forth between the ambiguity of it and not. And it changes its message and tries to pick its message. And I'm sure some ninth level Marxist-Leninist fucking liberal arts degree in the comments is going to tell me why my brain just can't understand how deep this movie is. But if I can't understand it as someone who is interested in these topics, then the normal movie-going public is not going to be able to grasp any kind of message from this, other than Hugh Grant's a psycho.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do think the movie starts with like an initial great like intellectual debate between because Hugh Grant's like whole premise is like manufactured religion is like used to justify oppression of others, and I think that's very interesting. I think they start with some initial great like viewpoints, but then I think it falls apart where Cole said he sounds like a Reddit atheist,
Yeah, exactly.
like a 16-year-old Reddit atheist, like trying to make these ridiculous arguments and analogies. Like the whole, I'm sorry, but like I thought it was funny at first, but the whole Monopoly analogy is so stupid. Like looking back on it,
I
honestly, I
understood
think
what he
that
was
was
saying. That was one of my
I
favorite
know,
parts.
yeah.
yeah,
I
I
think that's
understand
like
what
a
he's
good way to
saying, but I
explain
just
it to
thought it
like
was
an
like a
average
whole.
person though. Like you know what I mean? Like just as like an average, like hey, this is like
The
the
Phantom
one.
Menace drop is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know what's funny? I have one of my notes. It literally just says the Phantom
Yeah, my
Menace.
favorite part is when he says, "With great power comes great responsibility," and she goes, "Spider-Man." That was one of
And
my
the
favorite
Radiohead.
parts. Yeah, and the Radiohead Hollies thing too. And then later when she talks about Swamp Thing, I thought that was a cool little like deep cut. She brings that back later when they're talking about the simulation theory thing.
like
But
there's
I
some good
think this
stuff in here, but
movie,
it's like
It
sorry.
yeah,
yeah.
I think it also starts to fall apart too because I think the writers had this initial great idea, like this whole theological debate. But I think it falls apart, like where you said, it's the two-door scene, and I think that's where it falls apart because they tried to make it into. At first, it was just like a psychological thriller. Fine. Then they try to throw in horror elements, and I know that's the roots. Horror movies are the roots, so they wanted to throw in, um, like the whole prophet thing. We'll get into that because I'm sure you guys have some viewpoints on that. But I just think they tried to switch the tone, and it was like a complete 180, and
It
it just did not hit as much as I think they were analyzing like the audience
it
to view it
feels like
as.
the second half of this movie was rewritten to me. That's what it feels like to me, and I say that only
Yeah.
because all the build up to that, they're in the house. The house is a very big player in the story too. Like it's a very important part of everything, and it feels like all the house stuff and the aspects of the house being laid out for this kind of are dropped as well when they go into the basement. Because like all of that before that is that almost like that liminal space kind of horror with the house being so strange and the way that it's shot and the way that it's set up and all the set design being super interesting and keeping you in visually, and they're having somewhat interesting intellectual debates, or they're trying to in
Hmm.
the first half of the movie. And then it just feels like as soon as we get to the basement scene, I don't know if that was the original intention or not, but as soon as they go down there, the whole movie shifts to
Yeah.
kind of this like very bog standard like Saw-esque horror type thing couched in like a religious like
Yeah.
conversation. And then at the very end, it goes to like Blair Witch when she's walking through all the doors and shit. Like it's just it feels like it doesn't know what it is in the second half, and
Yeah.
it kind of just put a sour taste in my mouth. Like I put 6 out of 10 for this movie because I think that the first half is set up really good and I think it's shot well. But it just comes into my main critique with a lot of these artsy A24 type movies is it feels like they are acting like they're more interesting or more artsy than they really are.
I also was just like wondering too, like, did Hugh Grant's character just have like this whole setup in his basement, just waiting for like a Mormon to come
Well, I
introduce him
think
to
they
the
bring
whole
up that
house?
he
Because
like
I'm
did
confused
this.
about that whole point.
I think
I
he
think the
did
whole
it
point
multiple
with his
times.
shelf, yeah, because this whole shelf where he has like multiple books and shit like that to like bring up and like has like he obviously has that shelf in there for like whatever religious text he's bringing up.
I also think there's an aspect that it could be implied that like is it really happening or not? And I think that's something they didn't delve into that would have been way more interesting because there's a few points in the movie, especially during the simulation theory conversation, where it's like they could totally spin this like, is this even really happening? And they keep flashing
Hmm.
back a few times as characters are like remembering things that happened. And I was like waiting for the twist of like what is really happening here because it feels like they're trying to do this almost like psychedelic, psychotic kind of thing. And then it just keeps it straight faced and just goes through this really ridiculous series of events. The whole like last 15 minutes of the movie with like the doors part that I was talking about and then their conversation at the end before she like escapes is like mind boggling to me because none of it doesn't make sense with the rest of the movie to me. I mean,
Yeah.
sort of. Like, there are things that I could, like, connect in my head, and maybe I just need to be smarter so I can make the connections in my head. But it feels like that part is just, like, an ass pull. Because all the stuff that happens in between that does not lead into that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just confused too if they meant for Mr. Reed to like be a serial killer or if he really was just like this psychotic man
Well,
that's
that's the
trying
thing. I
to
don't
like
know.
impose his religious viewpoints because I'm just confused on that aspect because he slashes like Sister Martin's throat. But I'm just
yeah.
confused
That
if that was his like entire like goal, if he's trying to entrap these women or if he's really just some psychotic guy just
Well,
like
and the whole
to me that's like
simulation.
one of
living.
the worst parts. Sorry, I just want to bring this up just because we're talking about it. That part. Like pissed me off when it like she came back at the end. Like no,
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
fucking.
no.
It's been like 10 minutes,
Well,
and this bitch has had her fucking jugular slit.
that's why I was saying they could spin it like it's not all happening or it's, like, not, like, unreliable narrator or something. Because even her coming back, like, doesn't make sense. in that context. And there's so much they could have done. I feel like in the second half, there's so many missed opportunities of setup. Like even the simulation theory part that I do have a problem with because I don't think it really fits with the rest of the movie is like interesting where he pulls the birth control out and like tries to convince her that it's something else. Like they could have spun that back into like being a part of it, but I feel like she just like I guess because she already knows that it doesn't really matter. So is he supposed to just be like a serial killer psychopath, or is there something deeper going on?
That's
there?
what I
don't
mean.
know.
Like, I'm just like lost on his entire motive.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this movie kind of loses me as I watch it more. I've seen it twice. The first time I really enjoyed it. Second time I started to notice its flaws more and more because I think in the first time you watch it, you really
Did you
are
see this in
you're just
theaters?
entertained by it. What?
Did you see this in theaters?
No, both at home.
Okay. Because I do feel like maybe
Yeah.
if you'd seen it in theaters, because this was my first watch of this movie, and I went in with a completely open mind because I did not even really know what it was about, and I don't know, it just that it really rubbed me the wrong way after a while. Like again, I think like the first third of the movie is like really good. I think it's a really good setup, and everything that's going on had me like interested. And then I was kind of wondering where it was going to go. I also feel like it kind of feels like it overstays its welcome too. Like I don't think this movie needs to be 2 hours long.
No. Was it
Yeah.
really that long?
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Wow.
One thing I will give this movie is it's got like some really good moments in there. Like I think that the blueberry candle part is like really good and like really creepy in a sense.
I love that scene where she like turns the candle around and sees it's like the blueberry by scent.
That was the part that also
was
made
cool.
me think that maybe it was like some kind of like trip sequence or something. Like it wasn't all as it seemed because when she like turns it and it does that like crazy editing thing, like it was super cool. But then I was like thinking back to that later in the movie and I was like, was that supposed to be like because they really like accentuate like the smoke too of it, and I was like, is that supposed to be like them like getting like drugged? Like I was kind of confused by that, or if that was going to become a plot point later. But maybe I was reading too much into it.
I think like abduction horror would have been a much better, like just a
Yes.
like plain abduction horror movie
I
would have
agree.
been a lot better. And I think like and mainly because I think I compared this a lot to, like just watching it, like I was like, this reminds me a lot of 10 Cloverfield Lane and stuff like that in a sense, like different scenarios that led to the action actually happening, but or the events happening, but like you said about the motivation, like you can feel a sense of like you can feel a reason for it, the reason he's crazy um
In Cloverfield.
in
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
Yeah, I
And
just
here
feel
I
like-
just like I'm like, what is happening? And also, like one last little point I want to another thing I want to bring up was that the maze scene also super cool. Like we're showing the board.
Oh
And
yeah,
like some of the shots are really cool. And I wish they would have done more with that.
that was the thing about the house. Like they seem to put this real big emphasis on the house, and then they don't really do anything with it after the basement until that scene. And that's such a cool scene where she's running through the like maze of the house. And I was like, where the fuck was this? It just feels like there was like multiple visions clashing in the production of this movie, and yeah, I don't know. It just feels like half baked.
Yeah, I think also another half baked part is why do we have Venom / Eric just as a pointless side character that nothing even happens with?
Oh my god,
Like,
that is
all
Venom,
those
dude.
scenes were pointless. All the scenes were pointless. Yeah, Topher Grace.
Dude, it
by the
was
way.
Eric. I
Super
didn't even
comment.
realize that. Holy shit. Yeah,
What
that
a
was
fucking
also
useless
pointless.
little section. Yeah.
I-
It came up for like a second of like tension building and then was just wasted.
That's what I'm saying. If this was actually an abduction horror, like you said, maybe that would have become more of a plot point. It just feels like there was things going on that didn't need to. Like this movie did not need to be 2 hours long. Like there's another cut of this movie that is probably significantly better because they cut things out.
I do kind of wish, like, for my idea for this movie would be something like, and I'm not saying this would fix it, but just like in my mind, like it would be really cool if it was something like with his like wife that was dead and like him just wanting to have like the company and like the people with the religion. Maybe his wife went crazy, and it went like more something like the Remington House
Yeah.
or Winchester House,
Or,
whatever it is.
I don't know, but
Oh, okay. Well, it's like this in real life. It's this house, basically the like daughter of like whoever created Winchester, Remington, whatever it was, one of those big gun brands. Basically built this crazy, insane house. It's a really cool thing to read up on if you haven't before. Like where like there's stairways that lead to nowhere. There's like rooms that are like inaccessible. It's like a crazy
like a monster house.
Uh, a little bit different because it's pre-made. But like I just think it would be cool if it was like more like a a creepy house that like had this guy who like has this thing he's trying to figure out, like, maybe carrying on his wife's legacy.
Yeah.
And that's like one thing too. Like they bring up the wife so much and like that stuff, and I get like, it's his reason of like trying to keep him there. But like, I
Is
don't know.
the prophet supposed to be the wife? Correct me. I didn't write that in my notes.
No, because there's
I
like
don't
40
know.
of them.
Well, yeah, there is a
Yeah.
lot of them later, but I'm saying I don't know if he ever like mentions is that supposed to be the wife?
I don't think so.
I think he was
Like-
just making up the wife.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was just again another thing that like could have been paid off because it was brought up so much.
Yeah, I just think, like, honestly, I think the motives are behind this character are just like what drives most people away. I think drives all three of us away from this movie. And it, you could make the argument, oh well, they don't need to make the motives so clear for the villain. It's like, well, you kind of do. This isn't Memories of Murder.
Well, and I
Where-
think the problem is like it doesn't even have to be like, I don't know if it has to be like clear per se, but there has to be like more
Yeah.
hints or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like, because it seems like he lays out his motives, and they're not very good. I think they're just weak.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, it also seems
It's
like he
the one true
changes where he's
religion.
coming from at a
Yeah.
certain point, and that's again my problem with it. It feels like he didn't have like a solid plan behind it.
And then they well, sorry.
No. I was just gonna say.
I was just
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, he brings up his beliefs and like switches them so much, and they like bring it up like, oh well, this character brings it up, so it makes it like she's the smart one now,
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, whatever. Like she was like locked in a house for like dumb reasons,
Yeah, I mean,
because
I think I forget their names, sister, whatever the fuck, but the blonde one, like who the
Paxton.
yeah, Sister Paxton. I do think her arc is okay because like she
Mhm.
is like kind of
Paxton
the
Lynch.
what?
Timid.
She's kind of like timid and she's more of a believer clearly than the other one. And then when the other one gets killed or gets not killed, whatever the fuck, she starts to like have some realizations and then she starts to use her brain. And I think that was an interesting aspect is like she's starting to figure things out. And like she's a decent POV character even though I don't like that half of the movie. I think her arc is fine. It just that the whole Hugh Grant stuff doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really have a direction.
Yeah, I
And-
actually thought Sister Paxton's arc and like character was the best in the movie.
Yeah, I mean
of
she is the
three
main
characters.
character clearly, but like, or at least
I
like
mean, I
she's
feel like Sophie Thatcher was like the main character of the first half,
I
well, that's yeah.
I thought she was too,
but
at least in the first half.
I kind of got the vibe that Sister Paxton was going to be the like more ride along character. Though.
yeah, the final girl.
Yeah, because she's the more timid one. Like I already saw the tension between the what was the other one's name? I'm sorry, I really just didn't Barnes, Sister Barnes. I saw the tension between her and Hugh Grant's character way from the beginning, and I could already tell she wasn't making it.
But yeah, I thought this movie, honestly, I thought it was interesting. Some of the performances in the beginning. So, some background on Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East. So they have Mormon experience, which I was reading about.
really?
So I think that's what brought out their performances to be quite
What do you
authentic.
mean by they have Mormon experience? Like they were Mormons?
Like they
Or
were part of the Latter Day Church,
Latter-day Saints.
Latter Day Saints.
the Latter Day Church.
Well, yeah. Are we going to target more like specific stuff? Because I think we're targeting specific stuff, talking about the acting. I think the acting is really great.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to transition to the acting
Yeah.
a little bit. I thought the performances. I mean, only 3 characters in this movie.
4.
If you include
4.
Topher Grace, 4 for a brief like 5 minutes.
That bowl cut is whack, bro. He looks like fucking Rivers Cuomo from Weezer.
But Hugh Grant, this was very interesting for me because you guys probably know Hugh Grant from either Paddington or
Nope,
like the
never
90s
seen
Never seen
rom-coms.
Paddington. I don't think I've ever.
you probably know him from Paddington.
I don't know if I've seen Hugh Grant in anything.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I mean,
general
like,
audience might know Hugh Grant from Paddington, or he was in Notting Hill. You guys have
Yeah,
never seen
they-
Notting Hill?
8-year-olds that watch our channel.
Love Actually. I think I know about that movie. Wonka. He's in Wonka.
Like the new one?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've seen any of these fucking movies, dude.
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Glass Onion and Knives Out. I've seen
I haven't seen
that.
those.
I've seen
I
that.
have not.
Is Hugh Grant
I
even in
I haven't
that?
because I'm a hater, dude. I'm a straight
Who does
hater
Hugh Grant
of.
play in this movie?
You're a hater of Knives Out.
Uh, I'm a hater of the director.
Who's the director?
Ryan Johnson.
Oh, is it Ryan Johnson? Oh shit! I actually really like that second one.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
never
actually
seen
a
the
hater,
first
so
one.
I've
I've only
refused
seen
to
the
watch
second
it.
one.
I refuse to watch it.
The
Are
second
you
one's
just
good.
But eventually
boycotting
I'll watch
anything Ryan Johnson
I'll watch.
does?
I'll watch Looper eventually. Just I want to watch Looper just because I think it seems like an interesting movie.
We should do Looper for the
Um,
channel.
But every time I think of Looper, I think of the skit from Robot Chicken where it's Elmer Fudd and he's like,
That's the
"I'm a
Looper.
whoopa, I'm a whoopa."
But yeah, what were we talking about acting? Yeah, I think the acting is really great. I genuinely think the acting, like separated from my problems with the story, I think everybody does a stellar job in this movie.
And I think
Yeah.
I definitely think the first half set design is beautiful,
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very like cozy.
Set design of that first half is amazing, and then it falls apart. All of it, like the cinematography, set design, everything, just becomes like fucking early 2000s like bad horror movie. I don't know, like
Minus the ending, and then like the. First of all, I hate the ending. I think the ending sucks.
yeah, I think the ending is the worst part. The last
Wow.
20
confused.
minutes are like the worst part of the movie.
I think
So-
the escape sequence is cool. Until she gets out.
I want to think that part is cool, but it just doesn't really. Where she's going through the doors, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, actually getting through the house.
I think
again,
the bike
and,
lock
going through all this.
part is a good like payoff,
Yeah,
but like
I'm confused though about a few things in the ending. So, first of all, like Ethan said, I don't understand how Barnes is still alive. She would have bled out,
Yeah.
you know, because it takes like she was sitting there for like 10 minutes with her throat slashed.
it was longer than that.
So
bro.
I don't know if that's supposed to be like some type of symbolism, and then you have the end. There's the butterfly at the end.
Well, I do think the Sister Barnes thing is almost like trying to ape the whole resurrection thing from earlier.
Yeah, it's supposed to like allude to it. In a way.
But again, it's one of those things like, is it or
and
is
she
it
just
not?
dies afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's so weird, and there's like parts I just feel weird about it, and then like the part where it was like raining really hard at the beginning, and then it's at the end it's snow.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I guess I think it was supposed to be like biblical, you know, like that this it had to happen, like it wasn't gonna stop. I don't know. It just with the like half-baked aspect of everything. I feel like there were some good ideas that were just underutilized. This is a movie too. It's a movie that normally I would say on a rewatch maybe I'd have different feelings. I'm not rewatching this movie. I have no interest in watching this movie ever again.
Yeah.
I would like to see these actors in other shit because I think they did a great job.
I will say, like, one thing with this movie too, like going back to the like Hugh Grant's character, I think they set him up as like a really like, oh, this guy's like a big plotter guy, and then it like really all just falls apart and feels like there's no plot, like, you know what I mean, like he has no plan at the end.
Yeah.
Like he does this shit where he swaps, like, I thought it was supposed to be gonna be like really psychological, like, you know, like really well thought out, and then like, I don't know, it's just so dumb. And then I feel like the whole point is like his character should have never killed uh Sister Barnes, because like the whole thing is like he's like supposed to be like this guy, like, yes, you're allowed to escape. Like, I don't think he should have killed him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel like that is
ruins
where
that
part of it
like,
falls apart. I think that is more
like you have to be tested on your religion. I don't feel like they were tested on their religion. They were just tested after that. Like, as soon as you go downstairs, it's like, oh, well, you're just being tested because you're getting murdered.
Yeah, I feel like there's like some lost in translation. Like, is it that he was lying the whole time, and it's really for like the women thing at the end, and so he killed Sister Barnes because he only wanted Sister Paxton? I thought like maybe that could be an aspect of it, but I think where the Sister Barnes gets her throat slit is more close to where it falls apart than just going into the basement itself. Because the whole resurrection thing, like, even though I didn't like the way it looked and all that, I could see it like going somewhere interesting. But after he slits her throat, I agree, it's very out of character for him for like the whole movie prior to that, and it feels like whatever plan he might have had just falls apart, and maybe that's the message. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think the message is supposed to be showing how religion or like organized groups control others. Just from like based on research I was doing on the film, that's what the
It's not even that
consensus
good.
says,
I think in a way it would have been better if he actually like meaningly convinced one of them to be like,
Yeah,
"Hey, yeah, I want to be resurrected. Kill me."
yeah,
Like,
that
that's
would
what
be
I
interesting.
thought was going to happen.
Now, I have to ask you guys this: do you think this movie would have been better if, like, maybe they added some like supernatural elements to it? So,
no,
like,
No.
I
when they
think
get to the
Supernatural ruined it. Like the whole part, as soon as they go downstairs and they do like the fake resurrection, I think that ruined
no,
it.
but like, what if it wasn't like a fake resurrection?
Well, was
Do you
it?
think
We
that'd
I
don't
be
know
more
if it was.
interesting?
We don't even know if it was fake or
like
not.
I still think like the part. Well, he says it's fake basically because they swapped
Yeah.
the girls.
Oh, right.
But like I think the whole point, like as soon as that comes up and there's paranormal elements, like I didn't like it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm like I don't care.
I agree with Ethan. I think a straight abduction horror without a lot of the like weird stuff that happens later in the movie would have been way better.
Yeah, I think like him actually like instead of like her being like, oh well, obviously you're just taking the like basically you're the basic atheist guy. Like she calls him out for being that. I wish instead of like from there, like he went into some deeper points and like
Yeah.
got to a point where it's like, hey, this is this.
And that's kind of
Rather
what I
than
was asking for. Like I'm saying, he sounds like that Reddit atheist. I was waiting for it to turn into something more interesting than stuff that I've heard a million times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was waiting for it to become more of a debate, and that's why I think like keeping up that psychological torture aspect, and then the like ramping up of the like intellectual debate would have been way more interesting than whatever the fuck happened after that. Because even that scene where they're before the two, where they have the two doors and they're in that room with like the water dripping and stuff, I could see it like building to this like very like psychological place, and it was like getting more and more intense. And then it seems like it takes
Yeah.
that downturn and almost like phases into a different movie. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it was trying to be too many things at once,
everything everywhere,
and
all at once.
yeah, I guess so. But I think, like I said, we can all agree that they had the general ideas. They had a good, I think they had a good idea going. I don't think it was executed as well, especially rewatching it and watching it a second time. You start to notice, like I said before, you start to notice the flaws, and it's hard to really enjoy it when you just see how ridiculous some things are.
Yeah. I will say like I was happy that like to me I stayed for the most part, even though I didn't like what's happening, I stayed pretty entertained throughout the movie, I will
Yeah.
say, for the first watch. Like it's not a movie I'm like dying to ever go back to, but like I do think that like for a one watch, it's like, oh, this movie's entertaining. It's not like atrociously bad or like
I didn't
Yeah.
start
stuff like
skipping
that.
through it or anything.
I really
Like,
enjoyed it
watched
my
the whole
first
thing.
watch.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, I don't
It-
know if I would rewatch it, but like, I will say it kept my attention, even if I was like disappointed or not really like with where it went. Like, I definitely watched the whole thing. Whereas like sometimes I'll watch a movie and like if I'm getting bored of it, I just either skip through it or stop watching.
And the only thing I didn't really like is that I feel like this movie acts smarter than it is.
Yeah, that's my main
And I
complaint.
feel like the filmmakers like act like, oh, we really got the audience on this one. And you kind of notice that throughout the entire thing. There's just elements that just feel like, oh, we're smarter than you, so we're gonna turn this a whole 180. We're gonna put different viewpoints. We're gonna do different analogies to really get you thinking. But you're just like, all right, let's just end this. Let's move on to the next point.
It seems like covering
And
for
I
not actually being that smart. It's like writing a character who's a
Yeah.
genius, but you're not a genius.
But
I also
tried to
think
make
they played it
I
too
feel
safe.
like- yeah. Go
I
ahead.
think they played it too safe by just targeting like Mormonism and Christianity. Like they should have targeted everything.
Yeah, I agree.
If you were gonna go that
I
way,
agree.
like oh, like this is wrong because of this. This is wrong 'cause, like, I mean, there's holes in everyone, and they just like focused on yes, they're Mormons, so like whatever. They also chose the absolute easiest one to target.
I think that that's why it feels so amateurish, is because it really only targets Christianity. It does, like he mentions other religions, but it really only targets that Christian aspect of it. It doesn't take on the broader like conversation of religion. I mean, it tries to, but by that time it's falling apart. I feel like, and it's going in like different directions. And then like again, when
Really,
it's,
like the only thing he says is like other than simulation theory shit, is like the fucking all these people were born on December 25th or whatever the fuck.
yeah, yeah,
And then it's like, oh, well, actually, like, if you just commonly know, like, anything, like, December 25th is not that. You know what I mean? It's like,
No, but I
oh,
agree
that's
with
a
you,
corporate
generally.
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, if you have this, like, slightest knowledge of even, like, Christmas, it's like, okay, this was pushed towards the end of the year to fucking by like corporations. It's
Right.
not even the right like day.
No, yeah, and so I agree with you generally. I'm on the same page. I feel like there's a lot of. I think what Pat said boils it down immensely to how I feel about it. It just feels like it's trying to be smarter than it is, and that's like I don't like that in anything. Because I feel like if you want to do something straight up that's like not super intellectual, do that. If you want to do something super intellectual, put that thought into it and try and like follow through with that idea. And also with the playing it safe, I feel like they don't follow through on those ideas. Like they get really aggressive with it, and then again, it kind of just like lowers down again then. And they don't like follow through with where they were going with a lot of these conversations.
And that's my thing too. Like if you're going to make an intellectual debate too, take some time to research that, watch different debates. I watch religious debates all the time, and they're much more interesting than this movie.
Do you?
Yeah,
I
it's
watched that
interesting.
one old guy. What's his name?
Are you watching Destiny Debate Philosophy from 8 years ago?
I don't even know who that is.
I'm thinking of that dude, the like Christian guy who always goes. He's like an older guy.
Oh, Ken Ham? Is that the
his
guy?
name?
Is that the guy who built the Ark? Is that
No,
who you're
not
talking
that
about?
guy.
Cliff.
Different guy.
Oh, I know you're.
I'm thinking of.
I know.
Cliff?
I know you're talking about Patrick.
Yeah, I think it's Cliff.
Kent
Cliff
Hovind.
Kneckel. No,
Yeah.
Cliff
Kent
Kneckel.
Hovind, I think, is one of them. That's what I'm talking about. I think.
But Cliff Kneckel, dude, or whatever the fuck his name is, dude. That dude has like. Everybody's like, yeah, he like makes really good points and is like really like well spoken. Dude, I saw something where he got like so rage baited because somebody asked him like a actual like civilized question and like didn't say anything. He's like, "How dare you?
Yeah.
You're a monster."
Have
I'm
you
like,
seen
like
the
I've seen
Andrew
that.
Wilson guy? That's like another guy
No.
like that. He was like debating some girl on what's that like the whatever podcast or whatever the fuck. But he was debating some girl and he like is talking about like masculinity or something, and he like challenges her to open a pickle jar or something, and then he can't open the pickle jar, and then her boyfriend comes in from offset and like opens the pickle jar as he was like calling him a pussy. It's so funny, dude.
But that's what I mean too. Like if you take some of those like take the time to research debates or whatever. It doesn't have to be like YouTube debates. I just mean like theologians in general.
Yeah, just have some not just have the interest in it, but like try and have an actual
Theologists?
thing to say. I think part of it
wait.
Theologians.
theologians, he's right.
that-
He's right.
Is that?
It's theologians, yeah.
All right.
Or
That sounds scary as
theologists
fuck.
too.
It's but there's that's I think it's like the same thing. Theologists?
Yeah. Theologist is like what I always heard. I've
Theologians,
never heard.
I've heard
I've
theologians.
never heard
Theologian.
theologian.
Anyway, I'm just saying
Theologian sounds.
if
gay.
you're gonna take
No, dude.
I'll bleep it.
Throw that in raw.
Throw it in raw. You want that in raw? I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. I can agree. I mean, like, I do understand what you're saying in the Xbox 360 way, not the pejorative way. But
Yeah. Well, no,
or
because
in the pejorative way. In the pejorative way. Sorry. Okay. I'm just saying, like, kind of to what you're saying, Patrick. Like, not just take that interest, but like take the time to have something actual to say, because it feels like they wanted to have this like attack against religion thing in the movie, and then they don't follow through with like any kind of actual message about it. They're just like, "Oh, he's crazy!" Ah!
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just feels like you're watching a bunch of like atheist Reddit posters just reenact some type of debate. I don't know. That's just the vibe I kind of
Yeah,
get
that's the
from it.
vibe I got, and that's why I thought it was kind of dumb.
Yeah. I mean, now
I just feel like Mr. Reed's character was kind of weak. He's definitely the weak point of this whole movie.
at this point, I feel like we're just running around in circles.
Yeah, we're kind of just saying
Yeah.
the
The
same.
same
I
shit.
know we're gonna have the same conversation for like 20 minutes, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. I gave it a 6 out of 10,
Yeah, I would
and
say.
actually I'd say
like,
even maybe a 5, but I didn't want to be too mean.
I'd say 6.5. I'll give it that.
Well, 6.5
That's, like,
is what I
right
wrote
below.
in my notes, but
Yeah.
I've lowered it as
I'll
we
give it
talked
a-
about it.
You know, after I don't know, you guys have kind of like persuaded me a little bit.
Dude, I debated him into hating this movie. Holy
You debated
shit.
me into lowering my score. I was gonna say 7 out of 10, but like
I'd call that a win.
What was your original, like an 8 or 9? 9 out of 10, I think. Was the
no,
original?
it was not 9.
Yeah, it might have been.
I don't think it was a 9.
think
Let's roll the
it
tape.
was.
Let's roll the tape.
I think it was. You try and figure out your number. I'm gonna actually check the pod.
Yeah, Jamie,
I
can you
think-
pull that up?
I'll give it a 6.8 out of 10.
6.8.
You
Why
guys
not
have debated me
6.8
into
is
lowering.
crazy. I'm gonna give it a 5.87291.
Because I want it higher than Ethan's, but I want it lower than 7, so 6.8.
Okay. I'm the outlier on this.
And there are
graph.
some. So to wrap up this episode, there are some trailers we didn't talk about.
Is there? We talked about a bunch of trailers
Yeah.
last time. That's why I really didn't have much to talk about.
We didn't talk about
We
the
didn't
main
talk about
one.
the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 trailer, though.
We didn't talk about End of Oak Street.
The fuck is End of Oak Street? I never saw
The
the
Anne
beginning
Hathaway
of Oak
dinosaur
Street.
movie. That's probably another Cloverfield movie.
I've never seen the fucking beginning of Oak Street. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stall so Ethan can find the number of your review. But no, that movie, I mean, like, I'm interested in a dinosaur movie. You know I love dinos.
Ian McGregor and Anne
I'm like
Hathaway.
a big dino fan. What's your favorite dinosaur, Patrick?
Stegosaurus.
Wow. Stegosaurus.
Nah, probably a Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus, really?
Actually, it's the Indominus Rex.
Oh my god, dude, me too.
I-Rex.
I fucking love the I-Rex, dude.
The I-Rex.
The I-Rex.
This is. Dude, it's kind of hard to find a score because I keep rage baiting him with the Cheese Whiz.
Oh, was that a Cheese Whiz
What was-
episode?
What's the dinosaur's name in that new movie?
The
the
This is
new
also where his
Jurassic Park.
camera froze for like 30 seconds,
Hyperraptor
too.
or whatever the fuck.
It's
It's like the
The
Mondo
Hypebeast
Raptor.
Raptor.
Yeah, it's like the Hype Raptor or something. I don't fucking know. Raptor X.
He just-
I think
Scarlet-
the next Jurassic
Scarlett
Park
Johansson.
movie should have humanoid dinosaurs.
I think it's called the D-Rex, right?
T-Rex. The E-Rex.
You gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
That's pretty close to a 9. If
Sorry,
you round
so-
up, that's 9.
6.8.
All right. So
Damn,
you like
a whole
reversed
like
your
2-point
score.
drop almost.
Yeah.
I debated him so hard that he hates this movie now. So did I win the debate?
I guess. You debated me.
Well, thank you all very much for watching.
Thanks, guys. Wait, are we doing the final segment? Are we talking about stuff we've been
Yeah,
watching?
We got to wrap this up.
I
Hmm.
mean, I know what I've been watching, I guess.
I have not
Modern
really been
Family.
watching anything.
There you go.
How's Modern Family?
Good. Great, actually. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And then I did watch the
Malcolm.
Malcolm in the Middle, like, reunion
How was
episodes. Okay. Like,
I watched
6
this
out of 10.
Tubi movie called Woman to Woman. That's like a shitty, low-budget Tubi movie about this like lady and her husband has a daughter with another lady, but like it's like a Princess and the Pauper situation because like the main characters are like rich, but then the daughter who was to the other lady is like poor, and the other lady like beats her and is like steals her money and shit. And all the sets are like it looks like it was all filmed in like one room.
hell yeah.
It's fucking awesome. You should definitely check it out. Woman to Woman on Tubi.
I just watched I watched The Running Man, which was pretty good.
Interruption. That's crazy. Yeah, Running Man.
Oh, and Cole, I found out the dinosaur's name. Are you ready for this?
Mhm.
Distortus Rex. The D-Rex.
So fucking stupid. The
Distortus,
Distortus
dude.
Rex? What is it like?
He's a metal guy.
Does it
Doom metal.
Is it distorting reality? It's distorting my
Distortus Rex.
it's distorting my will to watch that fucking movie. I'll tell you that.
Features a mix of a classic, new, and mutated prehistoric creature.
That's the other thing.
Featuring
Jurassic
the
Park
main
isn't even around
antagonist.
about dinosaurs anymore. It's about like mutated fucking monsters.
Yeah, it's literally Godzilla at this point. Just terrible.
And he's got
Now
like,
that American Godzilla is also terrible.
and every time I think about it, I just think about Chris Pratt doing the blue. I'm controlling blue. And the dinosaur is like.
And then I also watched the drama
The Pit.
with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya.
You watched The Pit.
So I was actually thinking about seeing that. Was it good?
I loved it. So far, my favorite movie of the year.
Oh, really?
And
Mhm.
Euphoria season 4.
Yeah. Did you watch
No.
that yet?
Hell no.
Are you sure?
I know you
Hell
love
no.
I know you loved the first part of it.
Is Mia Goth in Euphoria?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that's why.
You have what? You did recommend that to me, Pat, at one point.
Euphoria?
You said it's
You
a really good
recommended
show.
Euphoria to Ethan?
You did.
Oh, that's awesome. Are
I've
you gonna
watched,
watch? Are you gonna watch the new season, Patrick?
Of what?
Euphoria.
No.
We should
What's
do-
wrong
watching
with
that.
it?
We should review
Because
every
you watched
season
the first
of Degrassi.
3 seasons and you loved it, and then you're like, I'm not gonna watch the 4th season.
Because the 4th season looks ridiculous.
Oh, because the other seasons didn't look ridiculous.
Why does season 4 look ridiculous? Can you explain?
Yeah, please.
No, I know what you guys are trying to
Woof,
rage bait
woof.
me
No,
now.
we're not rage baiting you. We just want you to talk about it. We just want you to talk on our podcast
No,
where we
you know
talk
what
about
Ethan's
TV
doing.
and movies.
You
We just want you to
he's
talk
saying-
about TV and movies.
He's saying woof woof. Do you not get the reference? Do you not get the reference?
All right,
Ridiculous.
guys.
Not talking about that movie. Not talking about that show. I don't know why you guys want me to talk about it.
Because you watched it.
I have not watched the new season
Well, obviously you know the reference.
because I have Twitter. I can scroll through Twitter for 2 minutes and everyone's either complaining about something or showing some clip of some movie or show.
I can't breathe.
All right. Thank you all very much for watching.
Whoop whoop.
We'll see
We'll
you guys in the next one.
episode.
Yeah,
Peace.
we're done.